Hello and welcome back. My name is Clay from Fall Line Outfitters, and today we're going to talk about rod selection, action, and potentially what rod would fit you the best. Now today I've selected 3 rods from the shop. There's many more that I would be happy to talk to anyone that comes in about. The first one being this Echo Glass out front. It is a slow actioned rod. On their website they call it medium, but it's the slowest that I have in the shop compared to like an Orvis Superfine. The slow action provides exceptional tippet protection when you have a fish thrashing at the net, especially when you're getting down in those really low tippets. It'll eliminate break-offs in that regards. They are really nice in tight quarter scenarios when you need a delicate dry fly presentation and just that extra little launch that you don't necessarily have the room for. Otherwise, option number 2 that I've brought out today is going to be the Orvis Recon. It is the polar opposite of a glass rod. It is the fastest action rod that I brought. It excels in excellent line speed, so if you have a lot of power through your casting stroke, this rod would excel. It also excels at throwing a little bit slightly bigger trout fly, so if you're an angler that likes to have the option to throw a streamer also with dry flies and nymphs, totally okay with that option there. The last option that I've brought out here today is going to be the St. Croix Legend Elite. It is the happy medium of the 3 rods that I brought out. Designed and crafted in Park Falls. It can't get any better than that, but it's gonna do the best of both of those worlds. So if you want an all-around great rod that does both aspects, that's the option that you would be going with in the shop. So with the Echo Glass, when I'm using this application, there's 2 variations of this. So if you're a big river fisherman, totally fine. But here in Wisconsin, this is the small creek variation. This one's a 4-piece. There's a 3-weight in the shop too. That's a 3-piece. It gets a little shorter when we got all of our tag alders around the stream. But when I don't have a lot of power in my casting stroke, or if I just want a nice delicate presentation out on the water, it's really slow. That rod bends and does all the work for me. I like to call a slow action rod really lazy fishing because it's just relaxing, and then that rod loads and unloads and just shoots that line out there and lands it delicately on the surface as if nothing was there, which is ideal if we've got really finicky trout, really pressured trout. All of those scenarios apply. Now, where I'm feeling this rod bend, when I'm just going like this, I'm almost feeling this rod bend down in this portion of the blank. If I'm really forcing it out there and I've got a lot of line out there, now granted I'm catching my loop at the end, I'm almost feeling it bend right down here in the cork, where it's unnatural if you've not used to it initially, but it's a super cool feeling when you get the hang of it. Now, option number 2, the Orvis Recon. This is a fast actioned rod. This is the 9-foot 5-weight, so I'm gonna get a little more power than that glass. But the thing that you should notice when I'm casting this is that my casting stroke is going to be much shorter, just because this rod is loading much faster, just because it's not bending as much. So when I go to cast it, it's faster. There's a lot more power in here that I can force it to. You're still getting a fairly decent retrieve if you're releasing it high, where it's a nice gentle presentation, but you can just feel it in the rod where it's bending much closer up here towards the tip of the power that you're getting from it if you have that in your casting stroke. Last but not least, Mr. Happy Medium, Legend Elite St. Croix. Like I said, this should be somewhere right in between that glass and that fast action Recon. Your stroke is going to be very mild. It's going to be, like I said, halfway in between. Your rod, you should feel it bending somewhere in the middle. Maybe a hair towards the tip. It really depends on the rod brand and company you go with. But with this one, it should be bending somewhere up in here. But when I go, you still get ample power. You can still feel that bend in that rod, load and unload in your stroke. Now, granted, that was a bad back cast, but if I start slowing down, I get much more line. I'm getting a lot of distance that I wouldn't get with the glass, and a nice gentle presentation that the moderate action of that would give you. Now to close out here, there's many more rods up here at Fall Line at many different price points, and there's a bunch of different actions. I guarantee you there's at least one rod in the shop that you'll cast perfectly with, and I'm happy to walk you through it all, go through all the different rods, and we'll even take you outside and cast them if you come into the shop. Otherwise, we're online at falllineoutfitters.com, and I'm happy to help. Feel free to give us a call, and see you next time.